Yeah, it's been 6 years. No justice. Bunch of female feminists throwing fits and diverting and doing drugs, throwing fundraisers so they can get more drug money. Yeah, Nate Hodge and all them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine that. Oh, I was so pissed, and I could tell that everywhere I went with Tiffany when all this was going on, especially when it was like her people that I had not really known or ever even met in 12 years. Imagine that. But supposedly she's known them all her life. Yeah, okay. I'm not saying supposedly like, oh, well, they didn't meet when she was younger and she knew about them. What I'm saying is they were not around. No, they all smelled money and come running is what they did. But I do feel that that chick Chastity was one of the ones that helped to talk Tiffany into trying this insurance thing. Well, think about it. If she was going to do it to try and get them just a little bit of hurt so she could get insurance money, she takes a possibility or a risk of neglecting losing them. Now, I don't know if that's how her mother and Brian sold her on that idea, but it's just funny that her mother talked about car accidents. Tiffany talked about getting in the car accidents and did one, a few of them herself trying to get money. Yeah, just like the one at the McDonald's when she said that she had pulled out of the McDonald's, but the person coming the other way, it was their fault because they hit her. No, you got to yield to oncoming traffic. And if you pulled out of there and they hit you, it's your fault. So that can't be the truth. Either that or she made real good friends with cops and they just happen to believe anything she says. Yeah, I remember us taking the kids to the fireworks and the two northeast town police were walking behind us and they were cussing up a storm and I turned around and looked at him and he was like, "Oop, my bad." And I said, "Yeah, you would think." They started getting an attitude. You're police officers walking behind families and kids and you're back there just cussing up a storm. Now, if a parent drops an F bomb in front of a kid because they're pissed off while they're dealing with something from you all, or something from the community, oh, they're the worst. But you all are supposed to be the role models, and you can walk around just cussing up a storm. Oh, they didn't like that at all. Yeah, we're coming around the next corner. I'm keeping track of the kids. Tiff's pushing the stroller. We end up running into her fucking uh, Aunt Prudence's brother and mother. Oh, these two. This dude thinks he's a cannibal. Oh yeah. I guess he tries to intimidate people like that. I don't know. Yeah, I just always thought he was stupid, but I don't really know who these people are that were, because we're coming off of a side street and they're coming down one of the main, like the actual main strip into where the park and the fireworks are. And all I see is some dude go to reach down and grab the, stroller. And I come around the other side and like shoved him because I didn't know who it was. All I seen was hair and some dude going to grab the stroller. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but I didn't say it. I was thinking that, and I shoved him, and he went rolling. And that's when I noticed that it was Ryan and Prudence's mom because she starts rolling her eyes and catching an attitude. And I'm like, a woman your age, looking the way you do, should not be in spandex. And she was. She was in like a full spandex outfit. And she rolled her eyes. Well, you shouldn't be noticing that. It's kind of hard not to notice. I mean, and she's just a rude lady. So, yeah, I gave it to her first before I heard her mouth open because I know what she's about. Yeah, these are the ones that I was paying rent to after Tiffany got us all in trouble at Cedar Hill, and they kept trying to play all kinds of fucking games. They locked my tools in their basement. Yeah, they went on like a vacation or something, and her uncle kept trying to make me put all my tools in his basement. And I said, no, I don't want them down there because if they go down there and you guys happen to leave, you lock that basement, I can't get my tools. 3 days later, that's exactly what they did. And I'm, pissed off at him because I get up early. And he made sure to get up earlier than me, even though they never get up that fucking early. And he locked that basement, and I couldn't get to my tools, and he took off. And he knew I had work and jobs to get to. And he does the same work that I do, but never wants me on his job. And I talked to Tiff about that, and Tiff's like, oh, well, he's afraid that you're going to show him up. I'm like, whatever, man. Money's money. He put your dad on a job, and he has a colostomy bag and can't do nothing, Tiffany. I'm just wondering how come he hasn't talked to me about making money. This dude's known me since I was 6, 7 years old, or 7, 8 years old. So don't understand the hostility. And I tell you what, I'm getting tired of his little attitude every fucking time. Fucking crackhead Axl Rose. Yeah, we came outside one day and his daughter, not mine, mine is sitting like 12 to 15 feet away from where his daughter's at. She has rocks, but she's sitting right there, just piling them up. His daughter is over at his car, writing on it. Now, he tries to call the police and everything else to get my daughter in trouble for vandalism. I have a video of it, and I show the cop. And the cop said, well, that's not his daughter, that's yours. He got pissed off about that. I'm like, look, we got a place that's opening up. We were only staying here until it was, and it wasn't my choice to come here. Prudence and Tiffany were the ones begging for us to come here. Yeah, Tiffany has that weird thing that when she gets around certain people, she will automatically assume their personality, like completely. Even if they have an accent, she will take over their accent, their personality, the way they're acting. Yeah, she did it with her dad and her stepmom when they moved into Cedar Hill. Shortly after we get the place, all of a sudden, they need a place to stay. Yeah, one day me and Tiff's talking in our room because we want her dad, she wanted it too, her dad, her stepmom, and her sister to, find their own place and get out because they were causing a lot of issues. And her dad's like at our door like a kid, with the glass type deal, like a kid would with their ear or their glass up against the door trying to listen, even though you can hear fine. You don't need to do that. And we weren't yelling or anything, we were just talking. And I go to open the door, and he's like all pissed off, doing this little shrivel face. And everybody in the family told me when he does that, he's about to flip out. And when I opened the door and seen it, I started laughing. And he's like, I said, what? I said, we're not playing this delusional bullshit. You're a grown ass man. The shit you've been doing in this house, you fucking know you shouldn't be doing. And he looks at Tiff, and Tiff agreed. But I still think the only reason Tiff was agreeing was to start a problem. Even though she was the one that brought it to my attention that she was fed up with it, I said, "You already know I am. I'm tired of your sister being a spoiled little brat, running around here acting like she owns the place, and it's not even her place. And I'm telling you what, I'm getting tired of the attitude. You know me, and I will not put up with that." Yeah, then she has her cousin Amber come over and lets her stay the night and throws a birthday party for her boyfriend. Mind you, this girl is 14, okay? And the stuff that she's doing, the way that she's talking, and I'm looking at Tiff like, what the fuck did you just bring into this house? Yeah, you don't understand. I've got Jasmine there, I've got my kids there, and this little 14-year-old girl is talking like a fucking streetwalker. And I'm like, what the fuck did you do? And I'm looking at Tiff and listening to what this girl's saying and looking back at Tiff. And I go out to smoke. I come back in, and this girl gets almost like nose to nose with me and starts talking these vulgar things about what her and her boyfriend do. And I looked at Tiff like, you better get this bitch. Because does not want to hear what I'm about to say. Oh, it turns into all kinds of shit later. All because Tiffany decided to take the kids over to her stepdad's, her stepmom's, and her sister's, which is nothing but a drug house. I went over there to get my kids, and they had the neighbor come out as soon as I pull in. The neighbor comes walking out like there's going to be a problem. So Amber and Tiffany's sister turns it into a problem. Tiffany's sister slams her clothes down because all I said was the kids don't need to be here with these people. And she slams her clothes down. She's like, I've had enough of this asshole. I said, yeah, I bet you have. And the one boy, Campbell, he thought I didn't know who he was, but he's friends with all of them. And he's like, you better watch what you say. I turned and looked dead at him. I said, trust me, I ain't worried about you, fat boy. And he got all kinds of offended, but he didn't say anything. And then Amber screams at the top of her lungs, you wanted to F me the river? I said, what? When did that ever happen? And Amber looks at Tiffany, and Tiffany starts shaking her head no. Just like, don't do that. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Because literally, Tiff put her in the living room, right? Now, mind you, it's on our first floor. It's putting a teenager next to the front door and the back door where she could sneak out, do whatever she wants. Now, mind you, Tiffany is responsible for this child, okay? I told Tiffany she needed to be up in Kirsten's room where the futon was. Oh no, she can. So now Tiffany starts an argument with me in our bedroom to where I just walked out and sat in the fucking hallway because I can't go downstairs. I have no clue if this girl is dressed or anything like that, and I'm not going down there. I'm not having that dumb shit happen. So I'm kind of stuck, just so I went into the hall bathroom with the door open, light on, and just sat upstairs. So apparently, somewhere in that midst, this bitch gets it in her head that this was going on. No, Amber, let me tell you something. Even if you were of age and I was single at the time, not a chance in hell. I don't know what the hell you were trying to pull, but even Tiffany knows better. A grown woman acting like you do would never have a fucking chance. The fact that you were 14 and acting the way you were All you did was remind me of my sister, which was terrible. I felt bad for you. I felt ashamed for you. I felt like I needed to give you some guidance, but I knew your hard headed ass wasn't going to listen to it. And I didn't want to try and give you guidance and then you do the opposite. So I just stayed out of it. And I tell you one thing, I don't give a shit who you know. You ever come in front of me trying to talk shit like that again, and I will treat you like a man. Because you are an adult now, and you will never, ever, ever speak of me like that. I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you ain't shit. Even if I was a 14-year-old boy, you would never be on my radar. Ever. Not even close. So, I don't know what the fuck that was all about, but no. No way, little girl. Not a fucking chance. I don't get it. These fucking girls think that that is their like go-to move now. What the fuck? I guess everybody can get me too'd, huh? Even if they're not doing anything, right? This is fucking ridiculous, man. Yeah, why don't you ask the other Brian Williams what happened to him when he tried to run his mouth because he was listening to my ex saying that I abused my daughter Jasmine. He got slammed up against the side of a fucking bus. Yeah, this is a little hood rat that thought he was a badass. Stepped right up in front of my face while I'm putting my other daughter on a school bus. Yeah, pretty funny, Tiffany and Jen. When CPS was after your asses, I was the person you threw under the bus, and you still lost. Yeah, I wonder why you lost. Because you were fucking stupid. I can't believe you tried to lie like that. To a hospital? Get the fuck out of here. Fucking. Mm-mm. And you teamed up with Jen? I can understand you being mad at me because we were broke up. You know, girls do that kind of shit. So do some exes. We got to play the Jerry Springer shit, even though we promised we weren't going to do that, right? But yeah, let's make it seem like it's me, just so you don't have to get any of the bad attention for any of the shit you've done. No, altogether, I worked for my uncle for six, almost 7 years. Yeah, it was off and on because of shit like this. Yeah, I was called a no good piece of shit for making good money. That's what I was called a piece of shit for. Yeah, that's what she was mad about. And then when I got a bonded insurance policy and made even more money to where, and started telling Uncle John no. I did. I had to start telling him no, but it cut my pay down a little bit. And she got mad at that. I'm like, "Well, you're happy that I got my business. You're so proud of me that I got my business, and then you want to attack it? You make no fucking sense." Answer me this: why weren't you going to school like you were acting so happy about and so ecstatic about, or was that just playing it off so you could get more drug money? Yeah, pills. Percocets was your pill of choice, remember? Yeah, your mommy did that. I'm still wondering if my brother put this shit in your head. Maybe that's why you wouldn't leave me alone. I told you I didn't want to date you. That was one of the reasons. because you were messing with my brother way before me and you ever started dating. You were 15 and getting freaking date raped by him and told him to make it stronger. And yeah, at first when you told me that story, I thought you were kidding. Then other people confirmed it. Yeah, you know, the one that was my ex girlfriend that you guys were down there in my Camaro. Remember that? Yeah, you ended up getting a collapsed lung. His little crack-headed friend was trying to hit on you, which was older than he was. Really? What the hell did these people offer you? Money's worth more than. Wow. So you traded things that were priceless for money and attention. And to the people around the community saying, well, she's already back in a healthy relationship. No, she's not. She was with that dude for not even a year. Married. She was just trying to get married quick. All she was trying to do was rubbing him, try and hurt me. That's all she did that for. She ain't never gonna admit to it, but I know this person, right? I wouldn't do anything wrong when we were broke up, so she would try and lie and manipulate things to try and make me act up, and I still wouldn't. Almost got me. I almost did, especially when she brought Talon here with a broken nose. Yeah, I had witnesses and all. Yeah, Vern. That's why me and Vern don't talk. First person we talked to that came home that day was my mom, and I brought Talon to mom and showed her and told her everything that happened and sent it off, to Vern's direction so she could see what my witness witnessed without me interfering. And this motherfucker said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see nothing. I said, Vern, he's still got the black eyes. What the hell are you talking about? He's like, oh, yeah. Dude, you did the same thing when he came through the door. You were right behind me. What the fuck? Yeah, he witnessed Tiffany setting at the time, a 2-year-old child behind a car, not even looking where this child went and reversing it as fast as she could out the driveway, not even stopping for traffic. Yeah, almost ran our 2-year-old over. And that's what she used as bait so I wouldn't go near her. So don't tell me she won't put these kids' lives in jeopardy. And you know what she did that for? Because Talon would not accept her bribery for acting up. You know where she got that from? CPS, trying to bribe them with movie tickets, a blue popsicle, and that Lego set when she tried to get David to go into that school and start stories. And imagine that. What was the story he said? My grandmother and my great grandmother died in a car accident trying to get me that toy. What did his mom do? Caused the car accident. What did her mom do? Caused the car accident. The only thing you're gonna see on my background is peace orders. That's it. Because there's no admission of guilt. And a girl can go to a judge by herself with a story and get a judge to okay that. Because in their mind, well, somebody's not going to come here and put a report up if something's not happening. That's not true. You guys got so many incentives out for them to get free stuff and more attention if they have one. And a lot of these women are the ones doing the freaking domestic violence. I know some of you have seen that video where that girl's running her mouth to her man, smacks him in the forehead, and then when he stands up and just, you know, kind of like checks towards her, she goes flying into the baby thing and all that, saying that she's calling her dad, even though he didn't touch her. Yeah, there you go. But of course, once you turn to the female community, you're going to have 80% of them swearing up and down that that's just bullshit. So, if you end up getting a group of radical feminists that are able to manipulate, guess what? They're just going to keep running their fucking mouth until they get what they want. Even though it's not true, but that's what it's going to say on paper because that's what a judge said. And that's what most people are going to go by. Oh, well, the judge said. Yeah, well, you might want to listen to all that judge said. And we have judges, cops, lawyers, government officials, all behind a pedo ring. I uncovered why I couldn't get any of the civil rights lawyers in my area to cover this. It was Freemasons. Yeah, I've talked about them. I've talked about them a lot. That was one of the things the cops said, that they wouldn't listen to the facts that I had, even though it was the kids talking on video. It wasn't me. It was them. They told you themselves. What the fuck? Yeah, remember when you came to my house because she put a peace order in between me and my daughter, even though she agreed to the individual weekends, and that's all I had her for. I was supposed to have them for one full month in the summer, and she didn't do that either. She got mad because everything she was trying to lie about didn't work. So she kept them away from me just before that thing with the kids. She let me see them one weekend just before her concert. I got to see her the day of her concert, which, from what Kirsten was telling me, she thought that they were planning it that day, and that would have made sense because that means that would have been on me and Tiff's anniversary. Well, what used to be our anniversary. She couldn't do it because Kirsten wouldn't ride with them. She flipped. She wanted her dad to drive her, and Kirsten doesn't do that. Only when she's scared. She only trusted her dad driving her. She tried to tell her mama one night, and because she was here with me, and mama was going to take her to a baseball game, little league, and Kirsten was all hyped to go, but when she got in the car, she made mama turn around and bring her home. And that's when she was telling mama about what Nana and mama's bad plan was. That's what I mean. This world is really fucking cold because none of you have put yourselves in these kids' shoes. And even if you have, you're broadcasting or delusionally putting together something that is not true about the situation. I mean, yes, they love their mom, but for some reason, after they went to Nana's and their moms, they were scared to death. And their mom never put any furniture or anything in the house, really. She even used Wi Fi against them to make them act up for their dad. Yeah, I couldn't understand why, out of the blue, they started just acting up and doing crazy things. And I was like, what is going on here? And yeah, it took a while. They lied to me, which is something the Kirsten and Talon would never do. David, he was getting into that. He was starting to hit teenagers. So yeah, he was starting to hit adolescence and get wild. And his mother did not know what to do with him. After she wouldn't let me do anything about getting him help or anything like that. I told her, I said, fine, he does one more thing, he's gone though. And that was the day he tried to attack Talon and Kirsten in the front yard. And I was down here working on the basement a little bit more, and she was up there with them. And all I hear is she rips the door open and starts screaming at me that I need to get the fuck up there and get control of him. And I'm like, you're up here. What do you mean I need to come up there? So I come up there, and he's sitting on his sister's back with his hands under her chin, with her face down, trying to like throw his body weight back to snap her neck or her back. That's what I'm talking about. This kid has never done this until after CPS got a hold of him. I also think it had something to do with John hitting him in the head with that ball, because he didn't have aggression like that until after he got hit with that ball. No, even when he, got upset because Talon was in his room and this, that, and the other, and he threw the Lego things down the vent because he got in trouble for, being a little rowdy. That was the first time he had ever went against his brother. That was the first time he ever gotten a little rowdy or upset. So I don't know. It was a shock to me. But yeah, I was trying to pretty much let him know that ain't gonna be tolerated, buddy. We don't act like that. So he got grounded for like a half hour, 45 minutes. To him, it felt like forever. Yeah, he's hyperactive. I mean, shoot, all you gotta do is make him sit down for 15, 20 minutes and he's gonna feel like it's forever. That's it. Because to him, it is ridiculous. But this is the shit I put up with just because I'm a guy.